true and faithful relation of what passed for many years between Dr. John Dee and some spirits, 1659, Meric Casaubon. Continuing January 17th. I guess I should take it back a couple sentences. Edward Kelly said, "Now it is clear again. He seemeth to read of the book." The entity said, "Take of your glassode." Edward Kelly said, "The book seemeth to be written in the holy characters." The entity said, "The glassode dignified." Edward Kelly said something, and he said, "My brother, leave off thy childishness. Murmur not. Thou hinderest me." Edward Kelly said, "He is again in the cloud." And then further said, "He is clear again." And in the margin, Edward Kelly thought this is ignotum per ignotant. And the entity said, "And luminous are from due degrees. Read it." D said, "I read it." And the entity said, "Take off your glassode dignified, and luminous are from due degrees." Edward Kelly said, "He seemeth to labor very much about the reading of it." And he said, "Gather or take, fierce degree. I feel no power, therefore have patience. Notwithstanding, work it diverse days, multiplying 4 digestions." Edward Kelly said, "Now he is in the cloud again." And then he said, "Pray that it may be given unto me of God, and double then glassode and thy roadliner." It is a word which cannot be sounded. Mendit reload. He said, "Must it be reloadner?" He said, "Look about you, where Satan would hinder you of God's benefit. Reloadner diligently. Pray that you may understand." And he said, "We prayed, and the margin corrected thus afterwards." Oh, as we see. Then he said, "For until thou watch," so continuing, Edward Kelly said, "A cloud standeth by him, and now cometh before him as other times before, and then goeth away from before him again." And then he said, "It is a holy hour descendeth. Note this very well, for here you may be cast over shoes." Edward Kelly said, "This cloud is in thee." He said, "We had talk of the foresaid cloud." And the entity further said, "Of every work there ascendeth one. Outcall and so every law reloadner." Edward Kelly said, "Now he is covered in his veil." Our cloud again, Edward Kelly said, prayed a short, fervent prayer, whereat I rejoice much. And then, now there cometh a beam from above into his head, as big as my little finger. And he said, "And purpose, the last sowed, take a swift image, and have the proportions of a most glorious mixture. Of the call, and also live low. Continue, and by office seek Renodner backward. By the red digestion but he, by the common ared dar, doth gather most ripest work, purged the last, Borton well fixed, then the four through your Verlodner. I said, Rogston finished. More together, at the lower body by 1 degree, be by you, for him behold it, and for him in one of them in the margin Edward Kelly he speaketh and casteth about his arms abroad swiftly. 14, D said this was added and corrected afterwards. He speaketh swift. Okay. D said now he lay down prostrate and sang until of the last thing. Edward Kelly said something, and it seems that reading from the book and some of these things may, by the number of dots, we may be looking at missing words, and sometimes there's quotes and stuff. Until the last thing, Edward Kelly says something, and then he says, in him become his red and highest degree of his resurrection through Coitian, through sexual relations producing children, of course. Now there cometh a great thing, like a fire, and covereth him. Now sit up. He said, we did rise up from kneeling. And the entity said, after a while I come again. There's the whole work. Edward Kelly said, he is here again. The entity said, bring forth the book of Enoch. Read for your lesson. The triangle means D. I read the former. Take off your and so on. Gather your 6 words. 4 words consist of 6 letters, and 2 of 4. Verlodner, read that. In the upper angle, descending in the first square, it is a great thing to know, which is the first table. There in nature, deliver the book here, and I gave the book to Edward Kelly, and the entity said, look, where thou, Edward Kelly, seest the letter clear. Edward Kelly looked and saw a spark of light upon R and then on L and so on. He said he was led by light appearing on the letters to read the 6 words. Glasod, Rogstan, Verlodner, Avdikal, Darra, Lovely. There's Livlo. Lulo. No, that's an O. Okay, it's smudged here, but it's clear over there. Here is Quaternarius in Circumferentia and Quaternarius in Centro. There be the 4 meat-eating ways to the center. All that may be spoken in that you call animal, vegetable, are mineral workmanship of nature, here, as in part of the 4. This, far now, more as you desire it, but that you may see, I am a companion with the rest. Edward Kelly said he is gone, and I'm not sure what the BB2 is, lowercase b, and Liber Enoch, 6 words, animal, vegetable, mineral, omnem verum vera concorda, and D says, Benedictimus Domino Deo nostro omnipotente Patre Filio El Spiritu Sancto. Amen. January 18th, Prague, the plus cross sign, or the T, lowercase t looking cross sign, both mean the same thing, that they were at their holy place in Prague. January 18th, Friday, main Horum, Kirkater 8.5, Rectionibus fusis adium, ut mysteria nobis exhibita hesterno di explicanter eo ut detracta lettera cortic succus eo spiritus veritatis manifestus fiat, etc. tandem apparuit cum vero canario. At Hercules, that here he is upon a green, endless plain field, and as I see abroad in the field, so heaven appeareth. And all circumferences of the air abroad, but my thinketh that I am from the earth aloft, and see all under me as if it were in a valley. And the entity said, now, what have you learned out of that lesson? D said, we perceive the grace and favor of God to deliver us. Okay, this is Friday. Mysteries in outward terms determined, but in the fruitful inward verity as yet unknown to us. And that he said, behold, I have delivered you through the will of God the true, perfect, and most plain science, our understanding of all the lower creatures of God, their natures, fellowship together, and perfect knitting together, which is fourfold. The first, the knitting together of celestial influence, and the creatures below. The second, the center of every body essential. The third, the combination of many parts or bodies concurrent to one principle. The last, the true use and knowledge of every substance to be conjoined and distributed. Take a pause. Edward Kelly said, he speaketh the language which I cannot sound after him. And D said, we read the premises and discoursed of them in the margin. It says, the use and fruit of the former lessons. Edward Kelly said, now he is here again. And the entity said, in the lesson which I have taught you is this knowledge, with the rest contained. Therefore seek and turn the earth upside down, labor that ye may receive fruit, for unto him that worketh and hath strength, strength shall be given, and the reward of a workman many years, the daughter of long time, are not necessary to the opening of this mystery. Many months have nothing to do here, for lo, it is the labor of one day, for in one day you may understand to tear this lesson in pieces, and to understand and what every word signifieth. But here is to be considered in the learning of this lesson 3 things: the place that every word occupieth, the place that every letter occupieth, and the number and place that every word and letter is referred unto. For here place and number are apart, and bear an image of the work that they entreat of. But number and place must be joined together, and thereby shall you taste of that which followeth, true wisdom. Be therefore diligent, and pray for the grace of God, that may learn and understand the manner of man's teaching. Look not for in me, for I have nothing to do with man. See how you can dodgest this. Oh, see how you can digest this. Okay. Edward Kelly said he has stepped aside. He's here again. And in the middle, D said he discord. The triangle meaning D. Note the place of words and letters, the number of words and letters, the joining of number and place. Okay. And the entity continued, now hear what I shall say unto you. I will open unto you a mystery, the key and foundation into the entrance and knowledge of the divine wisdom delivered unto you in a science palatable, contained in letters and words unorderly placed as a chaos, and therefore not to be understood, but by order to be reduced and drawn into their places, and thereby to be understood. For you have not a letter, nor the form of a letter, nor the place of a letter, but they are all counted with us, as the stars are counted with God, the letters and words, working into all reason, as the stars do unto the lower creatures. Therefore humbly receive that which I have to say unto you, shall open unto you as obedient scholars kneeling. First, a little with me, praise God. Edward Kelly said he is on his knees. And in the margin, Kabbalistically, Edward Kelly said that they prayed, that he prayed the 142nd Psalm, Domini exaundi rationem mem, and I with heart consented and greatly rejoiced in the aptness of the prayer, as Edward Kelly in his case chiefly required, and mine also. And the entity said, I come again. Edward Kelly said, he is gone. He said, we conferred and considered many things to the praise of God and the contempt of the worldly wisdom, and so on. The wisdom of the world for itself, hopefully. Edward Kelly said, now he is come again. Edward Kelly said, now there cometh a white curtain before him. He said, now hear my voice, for thou canst not see me. 120. 1, 73, 67, 29, 20. There's like 2 lines in the middle. Read. He said, I read. It must be 120. Okay. So that's 1 line. 33. Edward Kelly said, I hear a voice as if baskets and earthen parts were thrown from place to place, from one side to another. 105. 78, 150, 95, 100, 60, 91. Edward Kelly said, I hear as it were a whistling, very basely or lowly, woo, 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 and so on. Then he said, say what you have. He said, I read all the 12 numbers. Then he said, make a note there. He said, I made, as you see before, 39. Edward Kelly, the entity said 39. Edward Kelly said he had a very heavy thing on his head, and in his cap it seemed as if it would have crept into his head. And then we have dots after all these numbers, okay. Except the 105 and 100, no, after 122. 51 dot, 52 dot, 83 dot, 6 dot, 7 dot, 12 dot, 20 dot, 88 dot. And then note that D said, so did I, as before, with star as the full point, notable. Then D said, take thou, Edward Kelly, also pen, ink, and paper. Notably, that's often on the magician card of the tarot. And note the numbers also, that you may agree. Edward Kelly said, took pen, ink, and paper. Then he said, write thou, Edward Kelly, also the numbers, that he hath written. Edward Kelly said, wrote out all the former numbers, and they don't quite have them all placed perfectly in rows, but 5, 11, 13, 23, 62, 63. There's a line under 63 instead of a dot after. 141, 9, 81, 18, 26, 54, 123, 105, 14, 27, 115, and 135, 137, 10, 64, 46, 59. He said, I became here almost in a sound. I was forced to rise from kneeling. Our guide and the school master had me go away, and Edward Kelly should write out the rest, but it was not our friend that so bade. So 139, 22, 3, 45, 128, 86, 72, 68, 58, 142, 128, 143. And next we have 24, 63. There's a line on it, under it also. 69, 55, 19, 15, 25, 37, 31, 17, 76, 57, 75, 40, and 42, 79, 119, 8, 96, 113, 93, 84, 70, 49, 32, no dot, 17, 122, 136, no dot, 71, 2, 138, 43, 109, 106, 126, 116, no dot, 131, 70, and 77, 4, 103, 16, 124, 30, 102, 110, 50, 48, 89, and 44, 97, no dot, 101, 82, 129, 130, 90, 34, 98, 99, 65, 28, and 112, 114, 47, 144, 107, 132, 61, 133, 134, 66, no dot, 60, and 53, 73, 35, 92, no dot, 111, 21, 127, 108, 56, 118, 25, and 104, 87, 42, 94, 38, 85, 74. Thou, Edward Kelly, hast all done. Now, I'm not saying and because this was said. I'm saying and to distinguish from one line to the next. And D says in the Martin, these Edward Kelly very quickly had received after my going by show of bright light representing the numbers upon his paper, but it was a sophistical show, as may appear after. After dinner we required to our business, and by apparition was made. And then he said illumination, all one word. And there's like, I don't know what that character's about. It's not quite an Aries symbol. It's like 3 half circles join at their tips. Now set your numbers as they follow in order, so orderly after every word. He said, together is to be taken for one word, and then you have that weird 3 half circle thing again. It is so. He said there seemed to be just 144 accounted words. And the entity said, now bring every word consequently in order by number, directing you when you have finished and considered. After 2 hours, I will help you again. 5 must be in the place of 23. I must answer in luminous. 2, the number over Comoron. I prefer the O pronunciation, but must be 2. And not 138. Set all together. I will help your errors. D said, I cannot do it well this night. And then he said, as thou wilt. And when thou wilt, I am ready. And he said, omne quod vivit, resonat, laudis, altissime. Amen.